Welcome everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you for joining me. This is New Music Finds episode number 6. It's where I like to collect together all the new music that I've gotten in the past week and present it here. Things from record stores, online retailers, Amazon, eBay, you name it, it's included here. So I've got 26 new CDs from the past week to include here to run through. Before I do that though, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button, leave a comment, hit like. All those things help support my channel. And if you like the video, please share it. I'm trying to get the word out. I would greatly appreciate that as well. And of course, as I always say, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this with New Music Finds episode number 6. And to kick things off here, we've got 5 new releases that came out from this past week, or newer things. 3 of them definitely came out this past week, and I'll explain the other 2 in a minute. So brand new Smith Kotzen, Adrian Smith and Richie Kotzen coming together to record an album. I've done a full album review of this, and I'll leave a link in the description below for you guys on it. It is a fantastic, soulful blues rock album with a lot of amazing guitar work on it. Another great one that came out was Tomahawk, and this one is Tonic Immobility. It's of course a band that features Mike Patton from Faith No More, and it's their first album in 8 years. Really good stuff if you like that vein of Faith No More. Neil Young put out another live album, an archival release called Young Shakespeare. This one's a live acoustic performance recorded January 22nd of 1971, and it's the earliest known live recording of him. It's a solo one, and if you know the one that it was released from Mazzy Hall, this one is supposed to be better quality than that. So that was the hype behind it, at least. And then this release actually came out a couple weeks back, but I just got it. The new Hensley, of course, former keyboardist for Uriah Heep, and amazing solo work that he's done throughout his years. Unfortunately, passed away last year. This one here, My Book of Answers, was an album he had worked on and completed before his passing. So it is getting a release. This isn't something someone went in and pieced together. This was completely done and ready to go. Unfortunately, he just passed away before it came out. And another one that came out a few weeks back, Bonfire and Roots. It's an acoustic album done in the studio, so it's a double disc of all their hits done acoustically with some fan favorites thrown in. If you're a fan of Bonfire, it's really, really good. Okay, and now we're going to move into the stuff that I searched out, and we're going to start off with, went to my local record store, Academy Records in Manhattan. I want to give a shout out to them. They always hook me up and have great product there. So I found these here. I've got 7 things to go through. Rory Gallagher, Top Priority album from 1979. This one here, you know, great Irish rock guitarist, good blues rock, I should really say, guitarist. I don't know a lot about him. This is my first Rory Gallagher album, which I listened to in the store. You know, I put on my headphones and I streamed this album, and it sounded great, so I picked it up, and I'm doing a little more exploration on it, and something else from Rory Gallagher will come up a little later in this episode. I also found this, a Little Feat live album called Down Upon the Swanee River from 2003, self-released live album on their Hot Tomato Records. For a long time, these were only available on their website, but I have seen that they've started to pop up on Amazon and a few other places, so they're getting some distribution now. That one in particular, though, is an out-of-print one. Nils Lofgren, Code of the Road. It's a 1986 live album. I've always felt Nils Lofgren was an artist who I liked his live recordings far better than the studio ones. There's just more punch to him in that. So this is a Castle Classics, which was issued in '92, but it was the 1986 concert. Just good stuff in my opinion. I like Nils Lofgren. Then the Kinks, a collection called Come Dancing with the Kinks, originally issued in 1986, but this is the Koch Records reissue from 2000 where it's been remastered. Koch did really great reissues of all of their albums at that time period. I really recommend those. Okay, this one here, cool. Debbie Harry with Blondie. This one is called Once More Into the Bleach. 1988 compilation. It's a mixture of solo and Blondie songs. The Blondie songs are all remixed on it, so even if you own the Blondie material, you're getting something unique there. And then this was a really cool find, nonfiction preface from 1991, Grand Slam Records. And if you don't know about these guys, they were from a band called Hades, and after Hades folded, they formed Nonfiction. It's slower and grungier than Hades was, but still in that thrash vein. And then the last one that I got from Academy was John Frusciante, Red Hot Chili Peppers guitarist, a 2001 solo release that he did on Warner Brothers. Really great music on this. I like this. Albeit the electronic drum machine that's on it just really stands out. I don't care for that part of it, but I get it. It was home recording type thing. All right, then I've got one that I picked up off of eBay. This one here, Powerhouse from 1985. If you don't know who this is the band Geordie, who Brian Johnson from AC/DC was in before joining AC/DC. They did make one album as Geordie called No Sweat, and when that didn't work out, they changed their name to Powerhouse and really kind of dived into the whole new wave of British heavy metal sound. Great stuff. Definitely recommend checking out Geordie. But if you like Geordie, you can't get enough of that, check out Powerhouse. All right, and then I picked up 4 off of Amazon. This group here, Sharp Edges, Slice of Life from 1983. This was one that I actually found while streaming. It was just if you like this one, you might like this kind of a thing, and the album cover caught my eye, so I clicked on it. It's on Unidisc. It's a Canadian band. Great melodic hard rock. Never heard of them before. Don't know anything about them, but it sounded great. So that was a kind of cool find there. Little Feat, another one, because I'd picked up that live album from the record store. I then ordered some off of Amazon. Rooster Rag, this was one I didn't have, from 2012. Really good one. Of course, Little Feat features Bill Payne. It's his band. He's on keyboards, but he also plays with the Doobie Brothers. So because of that, moved right into the Doobies and picked up this, their Best of Volume 2, which features all songs from Michael McDonald era after Tom Johnston was out of the band. This was the later period, the more soulful blues rock period of the band. And then, as I mentioned, because I had that Rory Gallagher Top Priority album and I don't really know a lot about them, I picked up this, a Best of, which actually, it's a 2020 release, so that's what I found interesting about it. It's a single disc collection. There is a 2-disc version of this, but I just thought that was a pretty good timing there that I decided to check out Rory Gallagher, and then he had a relatively brand new Best of collection that I could check out. So gonna dive deeper into that. And then the last thing to go through is I've got 9 Rock Candy Records releases here to talk about. First one up, group called I-10, Taking a Cold Look, 1983. It features these 2 guys here, Tom Kelly and Billy Steinberg. And if that name Kelly Steinberg sounds familiar, it's because they did a lot of writing for other great artists throughout the 80s. In particular, this album features their songs that they wrote, the original versions of Alone, which was later covered by Heart, and I Don't Want to Lose You, which was later covered by REO Speedwagon. So it's kind of cool to hear the original intended versions, which weren't hits for them. They later fold that and move into songwriting, and then of course have a lot of hits that way. And the album itself also features 3 guys from Toto playing on it, Steve Lukather, David Paich, and Steve Porcaro. So a lot of cool reasons to check that out. Now this next band here, Shelter, didn't know anything about them. First stop, 1983. Really good, I'd even say late 70s, early 80s rock. Mix of a Foreigner and Survivor type sound to them. But the lead vocalist, Joe Lamente, if I'm saying his name right, is ex-Steeplechase. So if you know that band, then this one here, I think they were 1981. He then moved into this band here, but this is more along the lines of Foreigner and Survivor, so rock like that. And another band that's along those lines, Bullseye. On Target, 1979, just really good New York City rock band, originally signed to Columbia Records, and they do a cover of the song Treat Me Right, which a year later would become a big hit for Pat Benatar. So, I was listening to this and I was like, why do I know that song? Because they do it in a much more piano rock type style than what she did it in. So it actually comes across very differently, but you immediately recognize it. Anyways, it took me a minute, and then I figured it out and realized it was the Pat Benatar song. Next up, we've got Preview, 1983. This one here is just really good melodic hard rock. Features brothers Danny and Ernie Gold, and they were another New York City band, but it didn't work out for them. They toured with Pat Benatar, so it kind of gives you a feel for what this is here, but good 80s rock. I would recommend checking them out. And then this one here, Bite the Bullet, 1989. This one features Mick Benton on vocals from the new wave of British heavy metal group Mother's Ruin. They're kind of an obscure one of the bands from that genre, but yeah, so he was in here. He did a solo EP and got a little notoriety out of it, and then got this band. They signed actually in '86, but the album didn't come out for 3 years, and they just kind of lost traction with that. Sort of comparable though to UK bands like FM and Strange Ways and Dare and stuff like that. Then I've got two releases here from a group called Night. Their self-titled debut from '79, and then the follow-up Long Distance, which came out in 1980. And their sort of claim to fame here is that they feature Chris Thompson on guitar and vocals, and he was actually the vocalist for Manfred Mann's Earth Band at this time. And it also featured Stevie Lang on vocals, who was married to Mutt Lang, the famous producer. So Chris Thompson sang Manfred Mann's biggest song or highest charting song, Blinded by the Light, and was riding high on that, and he wanted something to do outside of the band, so he formed this group here. And the fact that they never caught on is just kind of crazy. But their producer, a famous producer at the time, Richard Perry, sort of took over and took charge of the band and directed them and picked the songs for them to record, and it was sort of yay or nay at his decision and everything, and the band went along with it, but it probably would have done a lot better if they had just gone out on their own and done their own thing. So they did make 2 albums. It's good stuff. There's of course both male and female lead vocalists on it, which is kind of interesting because when I first got it, I only checked out one album, the first track, which had Chris Thompson, so I thought it was a man. I got the other album first, which Stevie Lang opened singing, and when I put it on, I was like, wait a minute, why is there a female singing? And of course, later reading the liner notes, I figured it all out, but that was an interesting experience when listening to that. Now here's one I really like. This one here, I've never checked out Fiona before. I've always heard references to her through Beau Hill, who's famous for producing Rat and Winger and Warrant and stuff like that. And Reb Beach, who's played with her, and other notable musicians like Kip Winger and stuff like that. And so this is her debut album from 1985, and songwriting from Beau Hill. And of course, remember, he's from the band Airborne, which is out on Rock Candy Records. Great early 80s stuff. Bobby Mazzano on guitar from Stars, Joe Franco on drums from Twisted Sister, and Pepe Marcello, who produced it, from Good Rats, and also did songwriting as well. So this album is like Pat Benatar, early Pat Benatar, just really, really great stuff. I highly recommend it. Alternate album covers on the inside if you remember that one like I do, but the Rock Candy one comes like that. And then the final one to talk about here, Balance, 1981. I always knew this band from Bob Kulick, and searching out Bob Kulick's career, having started out as auditioning for Kiss but not getting it, and going on to lots of other bands and stuff, never quite having success, but just playing with everyone. And Bob Kulick's name, has been everywhere, and the bands that he's been part of, like Wasp and Blackthorn, with Graham Bonnet, and it goes on and on. A lot of great stuff. Pepe Castro is on vocals, and their keyboard player, who's really good, Doug Casaros. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I'm not familiar with him, but I do really like his work that was on this. So, there you go. 26 CDs of new releases, out of print things, rare gems, stuff like that. all from my past week of what I've collected from the record stores, the online retailers, Amazon, eBay, all that sort of stuff. Collected here for you guys to show you what it is that are my new finds from the past week. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye, everyone.